Breathing deep. Surrendering ourselves unto the Yahweh, our God and Creator, Holy Redeemer, embracing the gift that is YahShua within us, YahShua manifested for all creation, the very evidence of God's presence in each and every breath we receive. Once again, we breathe as one, breathing deep.
Sensing His very presence.
Breathing deep. Havlan laimaya nikora musuyedro shonyero mandala kora hunyo. Avun solyo nuyeshi yanyawu. Onyilbesh nukondreviamo torkamun. Lol nyiliamu shuyatuyu. And I feel led to begin in a simple question. As we've spoken over these past weeks about the importance of understanding the awe and majesty of God, the wonder of God, the love of God, this question just kept rising up in me, is how do you demonstrate your love for God? Which poses the next question. Do people actually think that God needs their love? Or is God so magnificent in the expression of love that God wishes you to participate with God's presence, to participate with the living love that is God's Spirit? The very attributes of God through love, compassion, understanding, clarity, wisdom, order, peace, healing, renewal. And again, if God doesn't really need our love, is it possible that God loves you so much that He does want you to experience love? And the only way to experience that love is honestly to shed the veils and perceptions you may have formed and actually participate in love. And we go back to that first question. How do you demonstrate your love for God? Do you find ways to move compassionately in the situations that unfold in your day? When you find that somebody really ticks you off down to the deepest parts of you, do you honestly release any spirit of hatred or frustration or anger? Do you embrace the holy presence of God to allow yourself to move to a place to demonstrate God's love? Can you allow yourself to be the very presence of God for the sake of the person sitting in front of you, even if they're attacking you? How do you demonstrate love for God? You heard the little story that I shared about James and I when we were down in the city of Boston. When we walked by that young woman sitting there on the ground, reaching out. What moved me the most was to see that love and compassion rising from within God's son, James, and feeling like we had to do something for this girl. How do we participate and demonstrate within that love? And not become limited or distracted by the nature of how man has defined love, or how humanity has corrupted love, or the spiritual process has altered the definition of love. And we've shared this many times. Has a person raised in a setting where they were surrounded by alcoholics defined love as instability, insecurity, fear, and anxiety? Searching for a new environment that duplicates that type of setting? that duplicates the addiction, that duplicates the dependencies, the codependencies? Is that how they know love? And do we honestly, in our hearts, embrace that definition of love that they hold and actually bind them to that definition by holding that image up before ourselves and saying, yep, that's the way my sister sees herself, or that's the way my brother sees himself, so I'm just going to honor that, instead of joining as one with God in God love, seeing them as whole, recognizing them as complete. How about somebody that we know so close to us that we've known them their whole lives? Can we honestly submit before God and allow for God to change the way that we see them so that we might see them in the manner that God loves them and not how that we might have become so accustomed to them or convenient in the reference of understanding them? Is there a possibility that the only way to truly demonstrate love of God is by embracing the attributes of God and functioning with them? Therein lies loving God. For if you become one with God, there is no veil between you and God. Therefore, there is only love. And if you can manifest God's presence within you for the sake of people or situations that are in front of you, the work situation. What about when you're dealing with employees or higher ups? Are you able to look upon them in a new way as you observe through God's grace to see how is it that you are supposed to move through this process? How is it that you are supposed to reflect God's love? Is it a silent awareness of God's presence? Is it a moment of blessed counsel that God's going to extend through you? Is it a demonstration of a quiet prayer that you don't even speak with words as you release the spiritual things that the boss or your employees are reflecting in front of you? Is that the way you can demonstrate God's love? Not for self-aggrandizement, not for recognition, but for the participation with God in holy love, freedom and release of all captives, and the blessed opportunity to magnify God's presence by choosing to become God in the holy nature of his divine love. And as Ina and I have been walking these past months, we have seen so many examples of God's love. It is staggering. It is just stunning to observe and witness. And as you find yourselves realizing that it's not just serving within a ministry that moves you to the place to recognize these things, but it's choosing that mindset of service in everything you do within your life, whether it's preparing your breakfast for your children or preparing for the day's work. Are you honestly considering the people that you're going to come in contact with throughout the day? Forming an intentional awareness of God's perfect love within you so that that might precede you as you enter into the workspace. So again, I come back to that simple question. How do you demonstrate your love for God? Do you honestly recognize that God has made you worthy to embrace his love, her perfect wisdom, her holy clarity? And it has all been completed for that which YahShua accomplished upon this earth and all that YahShua accomplished within the order of principalities? Do you realize that this is not just some fable that's being passed out, that this is an actual reality, that there is a divine, holy creator, that he is the very definition of pure, limitless love, and that every blessed attribute of creation emerges from that one place? And if you choose to demonstrate from within that one place, you become that God love. And what a beautiful way to demonstrate God love by being God's love. Yarviyamos Cecilia Kundra Krishna, Kurachamator Hamuna. I think there's times in life where people forget and they start to fall for this word love, and it's almost diminished in the way it's explained through humanity. And they forget that it is the very beginning to all things blessed. So if you can take within your heart the possibility that you, on a daily basis, can participate, magnify, and reveal God's holy love through a surrender of perceptions, a surrender of self-defined limitations, and a release of anything that does not reflect God, then embrace God within that place, and you will become the manifestation of God's love. To me, that's what I believe is the demonstration of how to love God, is to become God's love for the sake of all within his creation. Whether it's the person who names themselves enemy, or if it's the person who names themselves brother, sister, wife, friend, husband, bride, groom, whatever the name or attribute that you hold for a person. There is so much more to that person than one single title. And God knows how that person is defined. If you would seek first the measure of God's love demonstrated within every breath that you hold, you will find yourself looking upon each and every person in a new way, a refreshed realization, a new understanding.
With that, I would like to add that word that he was just speaking about is seeking God first. Do you realize how much he really loves you? The only way that you could ever know that. It's redundant. It's saying it over and over, and again, making it very simple. Spending that time with him, allowing him to love you, releasing, surrendering all. In the peaceful quietness of just you, your God that created you. He designed you. He knows every square inch of you from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. There's no accident. He knows your very handprint. Your heart that beats is him dancing within you. Coming into that greater awareness of his very presence. Then you can go out and so much of the world could be around you. Things going on. This is Larry sharing. And it could just fall off. You begin to see it in the way that God does of the attributes that are in you that are he. You begin to have this joy and happiness within you, even if things around you are just falling apart or there's not clarity. You begin to see, just like the word speaks, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be answered, and that the word will come that you will see as I see. You will hear as I hear. You will speak the word from within you is the word that you carry to others. But it first starts with you. So what's on my heart to share, again, is the simplicity of being childlike and just surrendering all, being at peace, allowing him to love you. And even in the quietness of right now, we speak his name. Yahweh, YahShua Abun. We love you because you first loved us. We praise you, we worship you, we glorify you above all, above everything. And even now, to surrender in this time right now on the phone is just, let it all go and just to receive. And the very words that are being spoken down deep within your heart and your spirit, deepen to bring healing and restoration. So how do you walk in God's love? How do you love God? How those things that were questioned that Larry brought up, it all starts in your relationship with him. As her wisdom rises in the very daily routines that you go through with your family, your loved ones, co-workers, just being at home, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. He is with you. He'll never leave you or forsake you. Growing in that deeper love, it is endless.
And I want to add what you were just saying. When you said to let it all go,
yeah,
it came into my heart right at that moment that what people have to recognize is that requires something huge on our part, and it's called trust. And many people in their walk of life have been challenged many difficult ways by people that are close to them, by others individuals that they face throughout their days, people in their workspace, people in their homes, people in their families, whatever, and they've had the trust diminished within them. Yeah. One thing I would say is there is never any place that God has ever forsaken us. If we have seen anything or we've heard people saying, oh, God just took my friend home, that is not the truth. God does not take anyone from us. The spiritual process unfolding is what undoes the nature of life. It manifests death, which we name within this ministry as birth into new life. It is the spiritual process that does these things. It is a spiritual process that allowed for a person to violate or harm somebody in some way. It is not God that did these things. It is God that is the one to be trusted above all. God is the place that is perfect faith. And if you embrace trust within that, you will be moved in such a way that you can do as Ina Marie said, and let it all go. Because you let it all go to God. You don't put yourself in a place of risk. You don't put yourself in a place of harm. You place yourself into the one holy protector over all of creation, which is Yahweh's holy presence. Yeshua's divine authority, and the Abun life-giving breath within you. For the very breath within you stirs and moves the very nature of your being to move in such a way that you will be aligned with God's presence throughout whatever difficulty arises upon this earth, because you place your trust in the source, not the situation. So again, if you're willing to hear Ina Marie's words when she says, let it all go, and then you remember, my part within letting it all go is to trust the one place that is safest throughout all creation, made possible to me to access through Yeshua, which is God presence, God specifically. Both the very nature of her holy compassion, her perfect wisdom, his divine strength, spiritual fortitude, all aspects of God, I choose to trust over what's before my eyes in this moment. So please, go ahead.
I was just going to say that also comes back to, it's almost like, well, how can I trust if I don't develop my relationship with our God, our Creator, and then trusting? And that's what you're saying.
Yes.
The love.
And you've got to breathe. You've got to breathe. You've said it 1,000 times to people that you teach in the golf. We say it with one another, the importance of breathing as one in God's presence.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yes. So now, if you're in agreement, we can shift to the closing prayer for this call and just embrace God's holy presence in thanksgiving for all that God will bring forth for the sake of others. Yahweh liyama susiri kuturba hamana kutaribadro, roko previs misipietruish nekundribianmanai. Racham lokutorivis misieli undrava hamunun, rukatarivis mekialumuntarach. Yahweh, we stand in awe, thanksgiving, praise, and worship for this holy opportunity to engage within your presence, to seek your holy counsel, to measure all things we witness throughout this earth, first by the nature of your Spirit and in the life-giving breath that we receive. We breathe as one.
You come in total agreement of the words that have been spoken. May those of your children on this call receive fully and an even a greater awareness of your very presence, blessings, and deepened love, who you are within them. Rise, healing and restoration to go forth in that which they are called. We love you, we praise you, we worship you in this time. In your most precious name.
Yahweh, YahShua, Abun so odle nukutayune, sunye wanduriushum. Amin. Tulamakatu yismacha. May you each have a blessed week, discovering new ways to demonstrate your love for God as you embrace God's love for the sake of all situations you enter into. We are blessed in loving each and every one of you and look forward to your feedback and all the experiences that you encounter in these weeks past and all the experiences that you will encounter in these weeks to come. We love you and look forward to serving you each and every day.
Be blessed and know how deeply you are loved. Good night.
Good night.